A Ramakien Tale, introductory session, part 2. The second part of the introduction is going to be split into various parts, the latter part of which will deal with the family trees in academic detail, but which first I'm going to tell a bit of prehistory before the actual Ramakien begins and the events which lead up to the Ramakien story, which are part of the Vedic cosmological mythology, and introduces you to some of the most important characters in Vedic cosmology and who represent many of the incarnate characters who are portrayed in the Ramakien as avatars or as manifestations. And so, after that I will then describe the family trees of the Yaksa, the Asura giants, the humans, and the Vanora, the simian monkey humanoid race, as well as various Himapant animals who have major roles in the Ramakien story. And so I would like to now, before I begin the perhaps boring and academic part, to tell some stories. And so the first story, as a precursor to the Ramakien Tale, is a story called Hirantayak Muan Pendin. Hirantayak was a Hirantayaksa. He was a Yaksa, an Asura giant, and he was a very malefic or malicious mind, and he was running amok along the earth, rolling up the surface of the earth in order to remove any place for humans to reside, and was basically causing a lot of trouble. And the heavens saw this, Hirantayak, he stayed on the peak of the Kaujakaраwan, which is the mountain of the universe, and he was a Yaksa who had a lot of magical and psychic power, because he received a blessing from Praisuwan, meaning Prasiva, Shiva, and was instilled fear in all of the hearts of the Rasi, the Rishi, the Rusi sages, and all the Tewada, the Devas, the celestial beings, were all very scared of him and his running amok and wielding of the powers which were bestowed upon him by Shiva as a reward for something he did in the past. One day Hirantayak was in his Vimana palace in the heavens and decided, he got a very malicious mood and decided he wanted to destroy the world and break it up into pieces. And so he started to roll up the surface of the earth all over and fold it up and take it down to the underworld, which is Botala or Mung Batan in Thai. And when this happened, Hirantayaks, running amok, all the Tewada, the Devas, travelled to Mount Kailash to visit Lord Shiva, Praisuwan, and beseech him of help to stop the Hirantayak from creating so much havoc. When Shiva looked down and saw Hirantayak had broken his promise not to abuse the powers he had been given, he was very angry and decided he would not save his life. And Praisuwan, Shiva, and called upon Panarai, Vishnu Narayana avatar, to go down and to basically to sort Hirantayaks out and to punish him and stop him. This meant, of course, to kill him. When Pratnarai, Vishnu avatar, saw Hirantayak putting the earth under his armpit to carry off down into the underworld, he transformed into a snow-white wild boar with big tusks, and he ran into Hirantayaksa and stabbed and bit him 1,000 times. But Hirantayak did not know this was Pratnarai Vishnu avatar, and thus thought he could fight him and tried to resist and fought with all his might. But in the end, Pratnarai Vishnu avatar bit him so much that the head of Hirantayak was completely severed from his body, and he died. And then Pratnarai avatar hooked up the earth which had been stolen in his tusks and went and placed it back in its original location. This was just one of many of the cases where Vishnu avatar was asked by Lord Shiva to perform his duty and function as savior and protector of the humans and the world, and many more to come. Now, Prince Rama in the Ramakien is actually the avatar of Lord Vishnu, and at the beginning of the Ramakien that is explained because it begins in the celestial realms with Lord Vishnu and a demon called Nantuk, and both of these then avatar or are born on earth, and one Vishnu becomes becomes Rama, and Nantuk becomes, of course, the demon Totsakan or Ravana. And so that is where the story will begin when we finally arrive there. For now, this was one of the incarnations of the Vishnu avatar, which I believe is the third incarnation. I think the second he was born as a fish. Anyway, Krishna was one of his avatars, the Lord Buddha was one of his avatars, and the white boar was also one of his avatars. Vishnu has 10 avatars, meaning 10 births on earth as a savior. And so Vishnu plays a major role in the background of the Ramakien as a bit of the puppet string puller, as does Shiva and even Brahma. And so I will tell a couple of more precursor stories of events which happened before the Ramayana or the Ramakien, and which deal with the ancestors of the characters who are found in the Ramakien of the three major families of humanoid beings found in the story, the Yaksa, the humans, and the Vanora. And so the next story I shall continue with will be called Gamnerd Anomatan, which is the birth of Anomatan. Now, Anomatan is one of the forefathers of one of the three families of main protagonists of races in the Ramakien. And that will be the next story on Buddha Magic. So I hope if you are interested you will subscribe, because that is actually the true beginning of the family lineage which gave rise to the characters and the story of the Ramakien. And so, hoping you enjoyed this slight precursor and promising that once we have laid the foundations that some very nice stories will be coming. And this is Ajahn Spencer for Buddha Magic TV and podcast channel signing off.